Real estate is a full contact sport. It requires hard work and commitment. These qualities have been foundational for us at the Real Brokerage to become the fastest growing publicly traded real estate brokerage in the world.
My name is Justin Tai. I run a team called Active Realty. Been in real estate since I was 19, so it's been over 20 years. I had the Zillow iBuyer account for 3 of the last 4 years or so. Was the #1 mega team in all of California, and sold as a team about 10,000 homes in that time. So.
I thought my numbers were impressive. It's not 10,000. My name is Michael Perry. I am the guy with the credit card that Real has given me on the screen. So I'll take that every time. I help run the Perry Group in Salt Lake City, Utah. It's a team of about 80 to 90 agents. And soon we're about to expand. Double that in 2024 is the goal. And we sell about 800 homes a year.
My name is Siri Rao, and I'm from San Diego. Welcome to our city, you guys. I literally told Tamir I think he had Bryce here because I asked him to have him here at some point. Perfect. Yeah. So anyways, I have a team here called the Brand Realty, and we are a team of, it kind of fluctuates, but now we're a team of around 70 to 80. And I'm also a mom of 5, so I like to do things big, obviously. But super excited to be here, and again, to have all you guys here. So, and I've been in the business for over 20 years, so I've been doing this a long time.
I'm Jesse Rodriguez, based in Claremont, Southern California. I have a team of 15 people. I ran Cal Rented Homes. We sell about 400 houses a year, licensed in 5 states, Nevada, Colorado, California, Texas, and Arizona. And we specialize working with investors, hedge funds, kind of niche clients. We don't do standard stuff, so different niche.
You had been coached to come to the conference with intention. What might your intention be before we jump into the listener questions?
So, Sharon said, if you're going to come to the conference, you should always have something you want to take away from it. So I wore my flip hat because I said I want to buy a flip from someone here that's based in Southern California because I'm a big investor myself. So if you have a good deal, please come up to me so we can work together and maybe do a joint venture partnership on it. Let's flip it. Don't sell to someone else, sell it to me.
There you go. So I thought, that's true of listings in general. If you don't state your intention, if you don't have a goal, if you don't know where you're going, you don't know when you're going to get there. So I just wanted to honor what you said, that one of your things you're looking to come with. So Siri, I will start with you. What is one lead source that you love getting listing leads from that is underrated?
Okay, so how many of you, when you're hungry, go on your app and you look up reviews for a place to eat? Probably a lot of you guys, right? You want to have a good meal. How many of you guys use Yelp? I use it all the time still. And when I go to a lot of conferences and stuff, people kind of talk down on Yelp, they'll filter your reviews and they'll do all this stuff. But actually, you guys, Yelp is an amazing, amazing place to get listing leads. And so typically when somebody calls you from Yelp or they inquire on Yelp, if you're doing it right, they're already ready to work with you. Literally, we just had one a couple weeks ago and he's just come sell my house, right? And so the thing about Yelp is you have to know that it's like an SEO algorithm. So if you go to our Yelp, page, if you guys want to go on, it's my name and then the Brand Realty, you'll see we have over 2,000 photos on it. So I have a VA every time we have a listing, he's uploading it. And then on each photo, he puts you know, like Carlsbad home or different keywords in that. And so what happens is you start building this up and Yelp starts keeping your reviews there. Because a lot of times people won't, agents will say Yelp doesn't work, and it actually does if you do it right. So just know it's like a SEO type of product. And I'm telling you guys, you've got to check out your Yelp. Like, it will bring you a lot of listings. So for time-wise, I won't go deeper on it, but if anybody wants to reach out to me, I can give you guys some more like tips and tricks on how to do it.
You're doing great on time.
Good. Okay.
So give us 2 tips on Yelp.
Okay, so first of all, you need to respond quickly. So within 10 minutes or less, you get an inquiry on Yelp, you need to respond quickly. The other thing is, so I'll just tell you guys, we spend about $1,400 a month on Yelp. In the big picture, if we're getting maybe 2 listings a month off of Yelp, is that good? That's great, right? So we spend about $1,400 a month on Yelp. Some of them are sponsored. We upgrade everything. Like, so all the options that you have on there, upgrade everything. Make sure your photos are clear. Yeah, so that helps. Those are some tips.
Okay, awesome. Okay, helpful? One question in. That's okay. Michael. I love to pick on Michael there. It's just fun. Because your dad said it. But with that said, I will be nice. How do you market your listings?
Yeah, this is something we really take pride in. And I think everything you saw on the screen that Sharon had, the open houses, the digital campaigns, the targeted Instagram ads, the Instagram videos, we do all of that. And so I would come with the expectation, professional photos aren't normal anymore. That is what used to be flip phone. So it's the videos, it's everything. But I think where we take marketing a little bit different, and I think we have a massive competitive advantage, is I work with an interior designer on every single one of our listings. So I have a problem with an agent who charges 3% with vacant houses. I think it's robbery, and I'll go back and forth on it every day of the week. And I think the advice I give for you, when you walk in, it's truly a presentation. Nobody wants to buy a house right now. Nobody. So staging a house isn't to get 15% over, which there are some crazy stats on what staging does. But I think from A to Z, we create a feeling that begins with the presentation. And so you can market, you can blast videos to millions of people, and it can get seen everywhere in the world. But if your presentation of the day they step in the door is not A+, right now the house won't sell. So the advice I would give to you is don't go call a random stager. Call a stager with some design expertise who really knows what they're doing. Just a really quick example, a rug should be a majority of the room. It shouldn't be under a nightstand or kind of thing. But the whole point of that is get somebody, you're a real estate agent. You're not a designer. But in order to sell a house right now, you can't really have any problems. So when we market our houses, it has to be a feeling, and it is absolutely a presentation when we walk in.
Also, helpful? So I have terrible design skills. So I should never be doing my own quote unquote staging, and I'm putting that in air quotes, because to me there's a difference between throwing a rug down in a room versus designing an impression to it, correct? So please, agents, if that's not your skill set, if you have questions, do your homework, do your research. Okay. Okay, I haven't forgot about this.
But and I just want to add to that, I do the same thing, but I married my designer. So that's, yeah, there you go. Yeah. So competitive advantage, I guess. Yeah, there you go.
There's always a strategy.
Right? Hey. Yeah. Gotta use all tools available, right?
All right, Justin.
Yeah.
What advice would you give agents just starting out about getting more listings for their business? So I don't have $1,400 in my to spend on, you know, so how do you help?
So the cliche ones, first, to kind of like piggyback on his question, I work in a lot of markets that are like inland and that are like affordability has to be there. So you might not have the budget. You know, the budget might be really lean and you got to know your numbers, but those homes will always turn, right? Because people have to live somewhere and they're going to pay rent and it's going to keep going up and up and up, or they're going to transact on affordability. I also work markets that are luxury, coastal, things like that. So we've really designed our structure to meet all of those needs. So specifically for that question, we try to bring an answer or put 90% of our energy based on solutions to whatever that is. So if we're bringing on a new agent and they don't have a ton of experience, I think now is probably one of the only times in my career where it's such an advantage. I spoke to someone who was also my age, came in the industry. He's only been in the industry licensed for 9 days. And he's here, he got his license, he got his marketing, he had his business cards, he set up his social. Like, he was so proactive. He was like, okay, I'm gonna start nurturing my sphere. He had a plan, he started getting with the team, he started networking. He had a basically very high intent. And so what I kind of did, because I'm a huge fan of like your Tony Robbins, your people that are like always gonna stretch goal you. In being number one for a while, like I kind of lost my motivation. And that led to a whole other things where it recentered my why. And so for people coming into the business, I'm really like conscious of saying, what's your why? What's your intention? What's your like structure? And then can you double or triple or quadruple it? And it should really kind of scare you, the velocity of getting with the team and getting yourself, because let's say you're like, you know, I want to close 12 listings, right? And I'm like, okay, what if it was a dream world, how many would you want to close? And someone says 40 to 50, right? Or sides. And let's say maybe 25 of those are listings. Then we'll structure the plan for that. Because what I learned throughout my career is it's the commitment level to each of us in the room to hit whatever goal you're going to end up achieving. And so if you hit a goal that you can easily set and attain, you can say, hey, I'm going to call my sphere. I'm going to get around someone who's done it, right? I'm going to emulate the work ethic, and I'm going to make, like what Ben said, 1,000 dials a day. Damn, that's crazy, right? Like a couple hundred would be big for our team, you know, consistently. But I think putting yourself where you can stack up some wins in this market and being a new agent, I think the people that are experienced have actually a harder time, because we know what it was like when you got a listing and you could put the sign in the ground and you know you had those multiple offers. That stuff isn't for granted right now. And like Mike was saying, that it's your affordability is almost at an all-time low for most of us that's been in the industry. And it's important to have the empathy of the buyers that are entering this market, but also the structured plan. And if you really want to have listings particularly, you have to have your pulse on those set of buyers. Know that 80 of them out of 100 aren't probably going to be qualified, and they need to be put on a track in order to get prepared to qualify. And the people that you're looking for, the 1 out of 10s, maybe the 2 out of 10s, if they're prepared, you want to start them off with the equity journey, with the home ownership, and that will lead to listings, because 55% of all buyers rebuy when they're a listing, and that's what we do. All of our marketing has targeted buyers and sellers on the back of every page.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Sounds like you've done this for a little bit. You might have a plan.
A little bit.
Okay, back over here, Jesse.
What was the question?
Come on, bro. I want to know.
Y'all over here having a party. So, I asked you kind of early on, like, what was your intention? You said flip. First question I had for you, partially already answered, is what type of sellers do you target?
Okay.
But I want to know why.
Okay. So I love investors. For years I've been saying the riches are in the niches. And for most agents, you come into the industry and you're taught, you know, door knocking or cold calling or social media, and you go after standard sellers. And when the market crashed in 2007 and I came in, like, I didn't have energy anymore. I was so tired after going under. in 2006 and 2007, and I was like, well, what am I going to do? And I saw that the only business that was happening was foreclosures or short sales. And I said, you know what? I came home, told my wife, I'm going to be an REO agent. And she was like, what's that? I'm like, I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to figure it out. And I literally put all my effort and all my intention on like, I'm going to sell foreclosures. And I went to conferences like this, right, that was based for foreclosures. I started meeting banks and learning like their language. And I realized that I was built for corporate sellers. I am not good at the dinner table for a standard, couple. The emotions that come with it, I definitely have empathy and I love everyone, but I like just numbers, dollars and cents. How much do you want to make? What's it worth? Will it sell at that? Yes or no? Take it or leave it, right? And I found that I loved the banks, and I ended up doing well and sold a few thousand houses for them. Then the banks dried up, and then hedge funds came into market. And they said, we want to do acquisitions, we're looking to buy. So I sell for Invitation Homes that owns 88,000 homes in America. And it was like, they worked banker hours, Monday through Friday. I'd never do an open house. I was like, oh crap, I love this. Like, how do I do more of this? And so I realized like, I want to work with investors only. And I gotta tell you, to me, it's one of the best niches there is. It is hard, right? They are difficult human beings because it's just dollars and cents. But once you find someone, right, and you learn to think the way they think, and you understand the return on the investment they want, then your marketing and all your efforts could be just to find new deals. Like imagine, you bring me a flip today, okay, everybody today, and you represent me, you get the buy commission. I fix it, I relist it with you. You just make $30,000 or $40,000 by bringing me the deal. Who here in this room has ever sold a listing and it was an investor that bought it? To like rent it, hold it, flip it. So I always wonder, like, why didn't you buy it yourself? Because we're trained to sell for other people. And that's okay, right? But you need to start thinking about, you could have bought that house. You could have flipped it, right? Obviously, you have to talk to your client and do the right thing for them and pay the highest price.
And your broker.
Yeah, your broker, fiduciary duty, all that. But more, it's like, it's understanding the opportunity that's in front of us every single day. How many times has it been the same investor that is possibly purchased, that's working with another agent, and you see that offer from that agent, you're like, oh, I like working with them. They have this great cash buyer. It happens on my Colorado deals all the time. And it's like, man, why don't I have that investor? She's selling 10 to him a year, right? And 10 relists. And so if you're not feeling comfortable right now in the way that the business is, like, the times right now are really tough. And I gotta tell you, this is the best time to be in the industry. It was easy 2 years ago. Our skills were weak 2 years ago. You spent too much money 2 years ago and didn't realize it. Right now, everybody's realizing they're spending too much, they're not making enough. Take this opportunity to refine everything. Justin and I were talking about this, right? You start paying more attention when it gets hard. Take this, and then when it gets great again, in a year or 2 years from your hard work, it's nothing but cash for you guys, right? So find your niche. If it's standard sales, it's beautiful. If it's investors like me, hedge funds, banks, right? Servicers, just find what the niche is and go deep into those relationships.
Can I also add to that too?
So just like Jesse, I took a different route. I worked with the investors. I worked at REO banks. I did short sales. I'll process all that. Worked for hedge funds. So that's how I got into acquisitions and resale for iBuyers. So what I did throughout that was a different take on that. So I worked for large investors that made a lot of money, and then everything was dollars and cents, right? So like the humanistic, like taking that for the average American family or the average American investor is why I got into real estate. So what I did is I took all the things that I learned, the systems, the process, the layouts, like why you do things with intent, and then I structured that all to sell, right? Because anybody right now sells all the homes that they want to sell in the year. Do you have a good year or a bad year? Tell me, show of hands. If you hit your goals and your margins on what you sell, are you going to have a good year or a bad year? Good year, right? So does sales cure all problems in terms of monetarily and your goals? It does, right? So if you get good at sales, you don't have to be good at anything else. Am I right? Okay, so that's what I did. I was like, wait a minute, if I get good at sales, if I get good at translating value to the average client that I have, I'll crush the market no matter what. So then what I did on that is I said, And for a while, like, you know, there are strings with any relationship you ever had. And so I had to learn what strings I was okay with and which ones I didn't want. But what I had is I took the best from all of those things. And now in our business, like we have a partnership with Open Door, we have a partnership with Zillow, we have a partnership with major investors in our markets. And so what we do is we take that for the clients and we offer every solution that they could want. So every listing presentation, we have a buy before you sell option that they unlock their own home's equity and they never have to lose a dollar, right? We have an Open Door offer that will match whatever in the market that they have that we present within minutes. And we structure all that for the traditional sales that gives them the highest ROI, and they can still choose their timeframes. So you can take both worlds, and then now you can actually talk to the investors. I do my own flips. My wife and I flip all the time. I have holds. So now you're more comfortable, but I got to tell you, like, I'd rather just sell a whole bunch of homes, and then I'll figure out what I got to do with my money, you know? So there you go.
I love the add-on, but
Yeah, there you go.
so great systems, great tools. Mike, since I'm looking around this end, Michael, I'm going to ask you as well, because I know you also work with investors. We're going to try to go, and Siri, I believe you do as well, a bit-ish. Okay. So I didn't want you to think that necessarily Michael's all luxury and all design, because I know they do a ton of investors and things as well. What is it, Michael, that you think every agent should know when it comes to listing?
Two things. This is going to be a two-part answer. I am a freak with market knowledge. I study data every single day. If you look at my Safari history, and I'm just going to give some practicals for you. Probably at 6 a.m., I wake up and I look active, under contract, sold, and I operate in about 5 zip codes. And I look in those zip codes one day back, and then I go purchase price, per square foot, and sales price, and who the agents are and who's transacting. And why I think that's really important, kind of a tagline in my head is be a walking computer. With technology and what is happening to the real estate industry with AI and everything, I think relationships are important, but the realtors who aren't really good at their craft are gonna get toasted. And I go back to this and where I learned this. The complete opposite answer I'm gonna give, what every listing agent should know about listings, is like the dark reality of what Tamir said. Nobody in the world really wants to buy a house right now. So this is you as a listing agent talking to your sellers. So we're having really early conversations that you have to do everything to make this house sell. So everything we put in the funnel and it relays, staging, design, pricing, conversation. But we're having these conversations early that say, hey, we got to get you an offer first off. That's not that big of a deal anymore. We got to get due diligence, finance and appraisal. Networking is
totally.
That is not my MO, and so I completely stand on that. Do what you're good at. Like if someone told me to network a bunch, it's like I'm sprinting the other way.
Can I say something on that too, though? So
No. Because you do
next time. Maybe next year, guys. Good luck in this market.
We'll circle back. I told them before we started, I have 4 brothers. I know how to do this. I'm going to go to Siri next. What is one thing you created on your team to help your listing stand out?
Okay. First of all, I'm related with Jesse. We literally looked at each other. I go, I don't do that stuff. Because here's the thing. I am a very visual person. I don't like to look at all the data and the analytics and all that stuff. I've luckily partnered with someone that likes more of that stuff, and so it works for me. But so leading up to that, one of the programs, and I'll kind of speak a little further into that, is we created a Lux collection. Because how many of you guys have turned up to a listing appointment and you know that there's like a Compass agent or a folder sitting there, or you know, like Coldwell Banker, like luxury or whatever, right? And so we would walk in and we would just, I mean, the brand is swanky, to be honest. Like it's a swanky style and marketing and all that stuff, it looks really nice, but how do you compete with those things? And so we created the Luxe collection. What does that mean? I mean, you'd be surprised how many sellers, when you tell them they're gonna have a sign out front that says Luxe collection, they're like, oh wow, that's great, and really, it just says Luxe collection out front. But we want to elevate that further for them, so their videos and their photos are even that much nicer, right? And all the marketing that we do is that much nicer. And like what Sharon was saying, you have to show up to these appointments and actually show them what you've done. You can't just talk about it, you have to show them. So again, I'm a super, super visual person. Like you can hardly talk to me without showing me, or else I'm like a squirrel all over the place, like sit me down and show me. And a majority of people are visuals. So how do you do that? So I would encourage you guys to think about how can you walk into an appointment, pull something out and say, oh, I got that. And one of the other things Justin said was the buy before you sell. We do that too. So like, how can we get them from here to there and solve that problem? Another thing we have is a cancellation guarantee. You can cancel, and here's what that means, right? So we'll pull that out. How do we do these different things? And these are all programs that we've created, and we have them in our folders, we have them on our slides, and we pull that out as needed to alleviate those concerns, and we visually show them all this stuff.
So I'll go back down to Justin. All right. And this is the one question I'm going to ask of all four of them, and I did tell them ahead of time, so I'm not just picking them. What have you done that did not work?
So I'll make it simple. I didn't plan on being successful, so I didn't track my numbers the way I should have, which is why me and this guy right here is you'd be surprised, but when you do all these things and they actually start working out and you build momentum and you don't plan for that amount of success, it can actually be just as harmful as not being successful in the first place. Yeah, for sure. Oh, I can. I can add on. I just got my first warning, so. I don't want to get three.
Sorry, Tony's telling me the screen is.
It is, and the computer's low. Yeah, it's okay. So what is something you've tried specifically with listing? Maybe a particular listing. You're like, oh man, this is going to knock it out of the park, and it didn't. Or is everything you've done, I mean, maybe you're one.
Well,
maybe you've never had that.
No, I mean, we actually, more of it was just, I get back to specifically with listings that didn't work. When we had hundreds of homes for our big accounts, if you actually drilled into what we spent on admin, what we spent on marketing, our plan from the inception of having that much volume actually lost money. And it's crazy that you could sell 100 homes, 200 homes a month on paper, not know your numbers, not know where your overhead and your marketing projections are, and not post a profit. So until I was like Jesse, and I had people that were really good, but it took me probably 2 years, and I had conversations with them after 2 years and went, hey, what's going on? And the one question that I was like, this is not going to work ever, and everything had to change, was I asked my senior executive staff, do you care about making money? And they said no. And I was like, wait, what? And so they go, we care about families, we care about people, we care about the process. We don't necessarily care about making money. And so at that point, the light bulb went on. We had a huge, I'm talking 45 employees, hundreds of thousands of dollars in overhead. This is where we kept people on through COVID. We kept, if we weren't allowed to do, you may remember COVID, you couldn't do open houses. Like showings was weird. Everything was it's just total out of the box experience. And all of our staff, we kept on. So I remember through our Zillow time, we had like, I don't know, 200 listings or so, and Zillow offered them either $5,000 back to cancel, or they can relist it another time or something like that. And we had spent all this money on developing 500 people in the pipeline, and we lost them all in 90 days. And then it took us 6 months to rebuild that. And then having a team, didn't know their numbers, didn't focus in on their profitability. That's where it resonated with me in the big room we're talking about. Know your numbers. When Ben was saying, be profitable, right now, I'm not as profitable as I want to be because I'm taking market share.
So you can succeed your way into being broke or into failure.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
the importance of knowing your numbers. Okay. Michael, same question. What
I
you
think
tried that didn't work?
It kind of relates to what Justin said on Way Different. I sold, it was in 2018, $3 million listings. I sold them for essentially free. I got an ethics violation out of it because the process was so miserable. And I made a promise to myself at that day, I will never, ever, ever discount my commission a drastic amount because I understood very quickly how hard this process was. And then a piece of advice I give to agents that kind of happened at that same moment was something that I did not do when I was taking listings. I did not think about the buyer. And that is really stupid advice, but I tell our team just about every time I talk about listings, every time you walk into a listing presentation, you need to be the buyer. You need to understand, hey, what are the great things about the house? The square feet, the garage, the beautiful marble, the amazing cabinets. That's all what they're telling you and what you agree. But what will save you some hard conversations 2 weeks later when that house is listed is, and have these in your head and write them down. It's what's weird? What is nobody going to like about this house? What needs to be fixed? What resources can they use my painter? Can they use my countertop guy? To refix and change this stuff so we can make it more pleasant for the buyer, and just really think, and I'll never fold about data because I think it goes back to this, is every corner I walk into, it's how can I relate this back to the houses that we have sold or that are selling so I can actually do my job and give them the best number of what I think their house is going to sell at.
Perfect. Siri, I think of Siri and I think of the brand group, and I'll tell you, I think of success. That you all know San Diego, everything you must try, must work. No? Back in the day, what didn't work?
Yeah, everything works now. Everything's perfect. It'll always be perfect, right? We never make changes, right, team? So this was, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, so it's specific to listings. It's kind of a funny story, but I went on a listing appointment, and at the time we had this booklet that we would open up, and when we got to the commission part, it was pick your commission. And it was like this bronze, silver, platinum, and the bronze had this many, silver had this many things we do, platinum would have this many things we do. And I thought it was great. And I think some people were doing it then. I probably got it from seeing somebody else that had done it. And so we were sitting there at the table, and the client, the seller, she looked at me and she goes, "Oh no, this is like jazzercise." And I went, "I don't know what that means, but I think this just turned for the worst." And we were doing awesome, right? We were jamming, the listing appointment was going well. And she goes, "It's like, it's like a product that really," so long story short, she ran me out of the house. And the next day we did not have that in our book anymore. I was like, "Okay, we're not doing that anymore." But really, your sellers, your clients, they should have everything no matter what. You should be going in there, so whether it's literally a 1% commission to a 3% commission, you should be giving them full service, truly, no matter what. Right? Their experience should be amazing. You should be putting all that into it. So what I took from that was, she's right. Like, I shouldn't be walking in there saying, "Hey, I'm only going to give you this so much." And so that was one of the things that we tried that truly didn't work. So again, you should be giving everything you got to each listing. Each listing is important to that client. That's the whole, right?
Fair. I love that. I love the servant bit about that. Giving them your best.
For me, it's been database. So we all know that database is the most powerful thing that we have. And in 15 years of selling houses and 4,000 or 5,000 that I've sold, because I've always had a handful of sellers that were corporate, like I don't have the database that you guys might have with a few hundred sales, and I never took the buyers as mine, right? We all hear that most of us sell houses and we don't continue to market to those buyers. And I did so many transactions, but I was transactional in the sense that I was like, well, I don't know them, I don't care who they are, they don't belong to me, just go hunt for another listing. Like I am a killer. Like I just go, I put my head down over and over again, looking for listings. And I look back now 15 years later and I'm going, I should have 3,000 people that actually know me, that I should have reached out to, that I should have done a letter of the heart, even though I wasn't their agent, right? Because who knows that home better than anyone, right? Me, I'm the one that sold it. I'm the one that managed it for the banks for 6 months before I sold it. And here I am 15 years later, still grinding super hard and super proud of that. But could there be another 1,000 transactions a year from these buyers that bought 10 years ago that their homes have tripled in price in Southern California, right? How many transactions could I have gotten out? And it's barely clicking now, and then I'm also realizing brand, I love your name, Brand Realty, like I never believed in myself as being a brand. I didn't want to put my name on, like the Jesse Rodriguez team, it was always Cal American, I wanted to share it. And now it's another thing that I realized after so many years, a lot of people don't know that it was me that sold the houses, and I'm 41 years old now, and I'm thinking like, well, what's the exit on this? Like, my kids are 10 years away from maybe they can enter the business, my 12-year-old son, and it's like I could have had something to hand down to him that could be 10,000 people, right, where they could just market to that, because we're always hunting for that next deal from someone we don't know, instead of from the person that liked us and trusted us and gave us the opportunity, right? And I'm getting that now, like more than ever. And I think we may be sitting up here, but don't think we're like so much farther than you are, right? We're still always learning and trying to get better. So like take that. I don't know what you're doing with your database right now, but go deep with it right now. Your business planning probably next week or through the end of the year, like focus on that. Like go super deep with these relationships, because those are the people that are gonna come back to you. Like Justin's, we're doing Zillow, I do Zillow Flex. We're giving 35% referral fees for 40 now. And it's like, why? There's no referral fee on to my database. I'm willing to give Zillow $6,000 on a transaction, but I'm not willing to spend $1,000 on a past client. It starts to hit you a little bit, and you go like, it's not right? So, they believed in us. Why are we not giving back to them?
So have you started adding to your database? Have you started building a database?
Yes, because of Michelle. Because again, I'm not organized, right? Like I don't even like logging into Top Producer, or Follow a Boss or anything like that. So, but we're gathering all these thousands of transactions, and then it's kind of like I feel like I'm like, hi, you never heard from me. I'm sorry, And it's like, no, so what? You never heard from me. Who cares? Like here I am. I'm still doing it. Like, let's talk. Let's work together. What can we do to make this happen for you? Because we all need listings right now. Michael, here in Southern California, like every listing's selling still. Like it's not slow at all for us. So if you can get one, like you put it on the market, we are still getting multiple offers, and it's like such an opportunity, right? Like I want everyone to realize that this is not negative. If you survived 2007 and 8, this is awesome. Like when it's down, this is when you guys all need to refine those skills again and just go deeper with your database, go harder with your clients, and then a year from now, you're gonna have so many darn transactions, right? And you're gonna be like, I don't know how I did it. Well, it's from this year and from 2024 is how you did it.
You have to start, go ahead.
I was just going to speak on database.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So, for some of you that are newer, and you don't really have a database yet, there's tools that and I'm just going to toot our horn on the team, but join a team. They have all that stuff in place for you so that you can just plug it in and follow their system. Don't just join the team and not follow their system. Join and do what they're telling you to do. Because I'll tell you, before I started the team 5-6 years ago, guys, I didn't do a good job with that stuff. And I sold for 15 years, and I was just like, on to the next, on to the next. And I'd get lucky enough that I'd have someone call me back. I'd follow them on social media and say these little things, but I really didn't do a great job. And so just in the last couple of years, and my team knows this, we're like screaming to them now and saying, don't just rely on the Zillow and the Rocket and all the different leads that we have. Like, make sure that you're nurturing these people. And we're starting to get more of the team are like cranking the SOIs. It's not just our referrals, and they're using their database. So you have to do that stuff, me included. So like you're saying, we're no different from you guys. I was not good at that. And I would say that I'm perfect still. Even today, I just got a call from a lady, and her husband passed, and it was one of my past clients. And luckily enough, she said that he remembered how amazing I did, because I think they were just getting married, that he loved me. But guess what? I didn't keep in touch with him. But I did a great job at the time. And so she remembered me. But we have to do better with that stuff. And you will get, and those listings, you guys, those listings, piece of cake. Those are the listings where you walk in, I haven't seen you in a long time, or you should be in touch more, right? Easy, easy peasy.
And it's never too late to start.
Start now.
That's the key.
There you go. Perfect. So they don't know that I'm about to do this, but does anyone here have any questions? I saw your hand first. Speak loudly because you don't have a mic. Stand up and tell us your name and where you're from, because we're in the business of real estate. You never know when you might get a referral.
Phil from Charleston, South Carolina. What from Sharon's presentation before this did you say, oh shit, I'm taking that back to my team?
Now, who's the question for?
Everyone.
I can
or
answer
whoever
that.
wants to answer it.
I can
I
answer
want to know
that.
that one thing from that you're not doing.
Okay. So the one thing that I took is that first part, the global reach. We have like a page in our listing presentation, and it says global reach. And that was about it. And then we're like, oh, we're with Real, and we know all these people. But literally, we have to go deeper on that global reach and all of us knowing each other and saying that we can connect and how big Real is and how helpful our brokerage is. And so that was one of the things that I was like, oh, Matt, and I didn't do.
Anyone else?
Sure. So I break up our presentation into 45 minutes, 15 minutes of marketing, 15 minutes of comps and data, and then 15 minutes of basically tailored individual approach, right? We call it a hot button, call it whatever you want. That, whatever's unique has to be changed, etc. So what I took from that is just the refined simplicity. So I'll just give you my honest thoughts. I think it's so simple, we might mess it up on my team, right? I'm like, man, the graph's like got 3 things on it. Ugh, they might cringe up, and be like, what is a little, And so my takeaway was with the proper training and knowing that we're making, I'm a big 1% improvement every single day instead of like, okay, hey, we're going to take and completely change our presentation because I went to a conference, right? Even though he's amazing and I'll lose every listing probably to him. I want to take that presentation and take the simplicity, the integrated marketing, right? We do traditional, we do digital, we do social. You have to do social to talk, what I want to say on Jesse's thing. I did the same thing. No one knew who I was. I worked in the secrets, I worked in the shadows, I did a bunch of units, I did a bunch of volume, and you had to have worked with me to know who I was. I have embraced social with my guys now and my girls now. Got out of my shell completely, done things I never thought I would ever do. And I hear people all the time, hey, I watched your video. Hey, I took away this one thing. By the way, man, you said something and it made me think about something that I need to do. And so in this presentation, that's what I want for our clients. I want for our clients that all of us, when we bought a home at some point, never thought it was really either A, easy, or B, possible, especially if you own multiple and you work for an investment type. And so training our thoughts to say, investors want to own, they own 30% of the market now, they want to own 60% of the market by 2030, right? So the investor dream is alive and well, right? How's the regular home affordability looking for everybody else? So taking that presentation and saying, what's the simple, easy, translatable, that we need to merge our brand locally with Real's brand and their technology and their simplicity and our star power, and really make it simple to just wow people over and put more posts on the ground, you know?
So, to rephrase it,
Goodbye.
is you probably won't take everything Sharon said on stage and radically change what you're currently doing that's working. However, you might experiment with it a little here and there. Because if what agents are doing is working.
So the simplest way that I could say the takeaway is, I'm gonna have our entire team jump on those trainings when he starts training and launching how to use the product. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take little bits and pieces, change them, they're gonna go, wow, this is great, or they're gonna tell me raw, right? They're gonna say, I don't like this, right? I'm not gonna tell them why I'm doing it. I'm just gonna do it. And then what I'm gonna do is get everybody on the training, and then once Sharon says it to the team, they're gonna go, whoa, and I'm gonna go. Isn't that amazing? Right?
There you go, fair point. Okay, but
Yes.
lady right here,
Yes.
and right behind you afterward.
I'm Jen from Melbourne, Florida. I had a question. I like what you were talking about with your staging and kind of early on in the appointment stage. And I guess I was thinking as you were talking, how are you leveraging that to tell that story and get you more appointments to start with?
Yeah, this is funny because I'm going to talk about taco trucks here, which I felt so attacked by Sharon. So everything we do is, and we haven't always done this. This was like years of how do we figure this out. So we have design appointments about 2 weeks before the listing, and then we give a full-on bid of this is everything I would do. This is A, B, C what I would do. So that's kind of like the tactical, how does it look, how does it deliver? And then how we show it off, which is what I think your question is, and how do we get more appointments from that? This part, like, genuinely was kind of emotional. I listed a house on the street I grew up in, which we've sold 17 in that square block. And we had a taco truck there. And I had about 40 neighbors sitting in the front lawn, just like drinking margaritas, eating tacos. But I think the whole thing of what we do is it's create community, so you have that, and then you bring people in who know that neighborhood, who are like, this house did not look like this 2 weeks ago. And so we have 40 people who are in our database who are like, they did something different. And then so we create a whole social media video of before and after, and then at the open house, and then we actually send that to the whole neighborhood. And so this isn't like a tracking thing for us, and I think it, especially in these rooms, you are like, I'm gonna go home and track everything I do. That's not how it works. I think a lot of times, and you can't calculate what's it worth, but we've become known for, it's creating a feeling, creating a presentation, so when we do have people come in, that question's answered by the 40 neighbors who are gonna talk about it in their group chat.
Okay, here and then here, because I've seen you every time, and then we'll be way out of time.
My name is Rich. I am with Real, but I put the shirt on, and I'm now officially with the Brand Realty team. So that makes
He's married to me.
So my question is to everybody on the panel. There's two that I have, and it kind of goes into what you were somewhat saying there. Number one, when you guys have clients that are needing lots of repairs done, but they can't afford to do it, and you're already working on a cut commission, do you guys reach into your own pockets to help those people out to get those listings ready to go? And number two, when you do have clients that do have the financial steps to do what needs to be done, do you guys step in and do you guys also help coordinate to take all that pain off of them and say, you guys relax, drink those margaritas in that taco truck, but let us handle with all the vendors and make sure everything's ready to go? Justin.
Great question. So we coin it. You got it. We coin it. We open our Rolodex. So what we say is, because we try not to overpromise, right? We try to like really find out what it is, the pain points, or what it is that we do track the ROI typically. And being in Southern California, you know it's going to sell. It's just at what price point. So it's really that example of taking the purchase agreement and going, what is the price, the terms, the dates, right? That you're comfortable with. And if they're saying everything's top dollar, then the investment's got to be there, right? If they're saying, hey, we're going to be reasonable, it needs some paint, it needs some this, we really try not to tell them what to do. We say, look, our Rolodex is completely open and available, no matter what the variety that you want to use our services or contractors. So with that, we use things like Curbio or Revive that need nothing out of pocket. We have investors. We can go into our own pocket and say, hey, we'll do this. We typically won't do that for a reduced commission. It's like, our commission is this, we'll do it for you, right? And then we'll have escrow. We also have contractors that will bill them out of escrow as well. So we'll say, hey, the painter or carpet, whatever.
Okay. And I love Curbio, Revive, and utilizing them. Again, brokerage operations hat on for myself. Be careful that you don't get in over your head and that you jump in thinking, I'm going to do a solid for my seller. And if you don't have that separate entity, that separate company, you don't have the expertise of these folks up here, be very, very careful, because you can get yourself in a whole lot of hot water real quick.
One add-on?
Yes.
So really quickly, when you offer to do things for people, they typically want the math equation. If I do this, what will it result in this? That is also another question I would be super careful of. It's, hey, we're just trying to get the best presented home. The second it becomes name a purchase price, maybe not a legal hot water, but if you're setting yourself up for failure.
Okay. I promise you, you get the question.
My name is Joshua Brody from Maui. I specialize in vacation rentals, Airbnb properties. And my question is, for somebody who's specialized in buyers for years, and we've talked a lot about, listing presentation. What do you do when you're there and you get it? What would be your number one piece of advice for somebody who's just starting to pursue listings? How to get those listings, how to get to that table. So would that be your coaching programs, more specific answer, no better, open to anybody who wants to answer that.
So I'm going to start down the line here and run down, and as we do that, our Maui agents, I see 2 here, I see 1 here. Or do we have other Hawaii agents, another over here, Maui agents? Thank you all for coming to the conference and making the trip out. So thank you.
Well, I would tell you to work with investors. I mean, to me, it's like you're going to go find a cash buyer, find them a deal. Negotiate as part of that is that if I find you the deal, you're going to relist it with me, right? They make some money, they do it again and again and again. Get a 10 or 15 cash buyer list of legitimate buyers, legitimate flippers, not wholesalers, not someone that's going to assign. You want to work with that end user. You bring me the deal, I let you represent me, I'll relist it with you. You get 2 things, right? If you get me the deal and someone else has the listing, then take yourself out of the transaction, by the way. Like, if you're gonna come to me and say, hey, Michelle has the listing right here, Jesse, I'll write it up for you. I'm like, dude, we're not gonna get it. Let me go direct from Michelle, let her double end it, I'll relist it with you. Guys, like, let's open our mind to, like, I started after the REO days selling for investors, and I would act as if I was part of their corporation, and I would submit offers on their, or I would call the listing agent and say, hey, we wanna buy your listing, write it up for us, 200 grand, 100 grand. And then I would take the relist, and I would do 20 or 30 with 1 cash buyer. And then from there, I started buying them myself because I learned how to flip through them. Like, that is a great way to do it.
Siri.
Join a team. No, I mean it. So, like, for example, we have I don't think she's in here, but we have an agent that joined the team. She got on Zillow, and she got a buyer that was also a seller. I don't know if this is going out. And she, because we have a mentor program, she went and got the listing with somebody who's already done listings, and bam, like, you're off and running and you're learning that way. So, like, don't try to reinvent the wheel. I know the first time I showed up to a listing appointment, this was almost 20 plus years ago. Guys, I didn't know what I was doing. I don't even remember how I got it, but I did not know what I was doing and I didn't have any help. So join a team where they can help you and there's people that have already done it and they're giving you those opportunities. That buyer turned into the listing. So.
I love that. And we are right at time, so I want to wrap up on time so people have time to proceed to the next room, to the next place. Jesse Rodriguez, Investor Specialty. Siri Brown, Grand Group, San Diego area. Michael Perry, Utah Group. Justin, Ty, Orange County, an hour after. Yeah. So Orange County. So thank you everyone for your time. Thank you, panel.